Live from Chattanooga, Tennessee, it's Nuganomics with David Toulis.
There's a story on Lou Rockwell by Eric Peters, who runs Eric Peters Auto, about the Automotive Service Association hoping to get past somehow in its dream world an annual inspection requirement of users of the road. And of course, that would be a fine thing for them. It would have all the members of that association, which would be repair shops and repair chains, have guaranteed income, right? Guaranteed customer base. And once you got your car inspected, you have the sticker. And when you came in the next year for an inspection, of course, the sticker would come off the moment you drove into the garage. And you couldn't leave unless you had the repair done right then. That's kind of the dream world of the folks at the Automotive Service Association, which had a conference recently. And Eric Peters, the auto writer, makes note of that event and some of the dreamy hopes of that industry. Well, we're here at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio. We like it that there are no favors in the market, no requirements. We like there to be the requirement, the main requirement in the market, that of the customer, and not of the state. Not have the state telling people what to do, requiring them to beg permission to exercise their rights to buy and sell and to perform services, or to grow things, or to produce things. This is David Toulis, and we're at AM 1240 Hot News Talk Radio, the station which suggests that you love your neighbor and buy local. So that would mean that if you're going to a gym, we would suggest, can you ask yourself, can I find a local gym, or am I simply to choose among the big chains, right? There are several big chains out there, Planet Fitness, for example, and others, and they're run by very fine business people in remote locations, all with the hope of earning a profit and serving people in Chattanooga. We appreciate their desire to serve us, but the question is always, as we think about local economy and the free markets, can we do better for ourselves by favoring the local guy, at least giving the local guy a chance? So what about in gyms? What about in the world of gyms? There's a new gym in Soddy-Daisy called LBS Gym Fitness. The owner and the founder is John North. He's 48 years old. He's a man who has a daughter. She's 20 years old and married. He works for the county in the Juvenile Detention Center, the jail. And he's been using gyms and taking an interest in gyms for more than 30 years, since 1980. And one problem he sees with the gym industry is that it's money driven. And so we're going to ask him, John North, how is it that gyms are money driven, and how is it that you offer my listener an alternative with a small local gym? Where is your gym? And tell us about your thoughts on the marketplace.
Well, my gym's located at 8363 Dayton Pike, and that's of course in Soddy-Daisy. Right behind Delia's Mexican restaurant, which is across the street from Paul's Auto Body. Okay. The reason why I started the gym is when the fitness industry has changed big time since the 1980s, 90s when I got started. And I'll give you, for instance, of what I mean. It's changed in a sense that it used to be you would sign up, you would get a membership. They would write a workout program for you. They would go through the training with you. They'd help you along till you knew what you were doing. You knew how to use the equipment. You knew how to do the basic things. And then the community of the gym, if you will, they would get together and it kind of became like a family thing. Hey, I don't know how else to put it, and everybody helped everybody, and that is gone. A lot of these gyms today, they take your money, and once they got your money, or they'll get it through your bank account or whatever have you, and once that's done, they forget about you.
Well, don't gyms sell their services with very, very cheap rates? It would seem that money is not an issue, where you can get a monthly membership for $15 or $20, something like that.
Well, the thing is on that, and of course that's had to make me adjust my prices to be able to compete with that. But where they get you at is volume. This time of the year, you mentioned Planet Fitness. This time of the year, I guarantee it at certain times of the day that you won't get on, even though they've got, I don't know, incredible number of cardio equipment. You won't get on it, and you won't get on it because they're selling memberships that cheap, and everybody's rushing the place. But and I'm not here to bash any other gyms or anything. I'm just trying to get a small piece of pie in Soddy-Daisy. I'm focused on the community of Soddy-Daisy, but a lot of them they throw things at you that they really shouldn't. Pizza, bagels, stuff like that. That's not healthy for you, and it's all in the sense of volume and numbers of people. In fact, to be honest with you, a real strong argument could be made that some of these gyms, they don't allow people to drop the weights or to make a noise when you're pushing the weight and it's heavy. You're going to grunt a little. And in some of these places, they have alarms for that. They actually have made up sayings against a weightlifter, calling them having a lunk alarm on him or something like that. And so
so a shout, a roar, a grunt are frowned upon in the large places, the large modern corporate places,
right? Because they don't want the equipment to be damaged or anything, so they go with lighter weights. They go with more cardio equipment and things, and get people focused on that, and get away from the foundations of what people really need. And yes, they need cardio equipment, which is aerobic, and you burn calories while you're doing that. But an anaerobic working out, such with heavy weights or something, helps you to burn calories when you're at rest.
Where did you get your equipment from, John North? Is it LBS Gym Fitness, or do you say pounds?
It's the abbreviation for pounds.
Okay, so you say LBS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I say that because a lot of people say, well, I had a person come in, they say, I need to talk to LB. And so but it's kind of comical, but no, it's the abbreviation for pounds. It's on all my weight plates. It says LBS.
Where did your equipment come from? Did you buy it new, as you find in many of these big chains, or probably with a lot of debt, or did you buy it secondhand?
I bought all my stuff secondhand, but when I say that, I say it from, some of my stuff is, a lot of my stuff is like basically brand new. Some of it's never been used until I put it in the gym. And what happened was when we went through that Great Recession just a few years ago, I lost my job. I was working in a hospital, and I had to reinvent myself, started a janitorial business for a time. And I started buying up gyms that had went out of business due to whatever reason. I started buying up equipment, hand-picking the pieces of equipment that I wanted for the future,
and you bought it for very, very cheap. For example, you could buy a piece of equipment that sold new some years before for $2,000. You could buy it for $20 or $30. Is that true, or was it more?
Well, I've got when it's all said and done, because I got a few more pieces to buy. I have everything you need, but there's just a few pieces I want to add. But I've got a little over $11,000 invested. If you had to buy it brand new, would be well over $80,000. To buy it used today would probably cost around $50,000.
Modern companies have a lot of debt. There's the country's gagging on debt. The economy's gagging on debt. Did you start your business, John North, the owner of LBS Gym Fitness, with debt, or are you avoiding that problem? Which would, of course, if you had debts, you'd have to have higher prices and more debt to pay for the marketing and so on to cover your expenses.
Well, I'm fortunate. I had a father that just ran business, and my dad told me, he got on my case when I was younger. He said, just get the stuff, have it paid off, put it somewhere, and then when the time comes, you'll have everything you need, and then open up and you won't have that overhead. And so that's what I did. I just bought it, stored it, and then when I was ready, I opened up with it. Now,
you work in the juvenile detention field. Tell us a little bit about what you do there and what kind of schedule that imposes on you, and how, with that schedule, you also run your LBS Gym Fitness in Soddy-Daisy behind the Dailiest restaurant.
Okay, I got to be careful talking about because the juvenile because
Right, you're not here. You're in here in your personal capacity, not
Right.
as an agent of the county. I understand.
Right. Yeah, I just I do work in a jail, juvenile detention. The I work my days off are Wednesdays and Thursdays, so I spend that whole time in the gym on those days helping people because we're open to the public from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then the other days people can get in by access through their through the access code to get in. So it is open 24/7. But what I do is on the days I have to go to work, which are affected Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, I have a very she's awesome. Her name's Courtney Smith, and she's a formal gymnast and things like she gymnastics and things like that. And she runs the facility for me on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 2:30 till 7. And she takes care of the clients that come in. Now, one of the things that she does, she has her own. We affiliate with each other. She does her own personal training, CrossFit, and that kind of thing. Where they flip the tires and they do different things like that. And she's sets up classes for that. And so she answers, especially with the ladies. It works really good because she's there, and I'm sure that the ladies feel very comfortable with her.
Well, LBS Gym Fitness has an emphasis, as you told me. It has bodybuilding and powerlifting. To define those and define how you've tried to modify their separate claims.
Well, years ago I did go in a powerlifting contest. I was never able to fully get the diet down to where I had the best I could do is a 4-pack. I can never get that 6. But and some of the bodybuilders, believe it or not, got an 8-pack. But what I've defined as that is most people, they join the gym, they have no interest in being a bodybuilder or a power lifter. They just want to be strong looking, and they want to be strong and they want to look good. And that's what has been deemed over the last few years as power building. It's a cross between the two. And what's nice about that is young kids coming up that want to get into bodybuilding or powerlifting, you teach them the two together, and then as their physique, as they build and they start to see their physique, then they know which direction they want to go, and then you can help them to go in that direction as to what works for them.
There's a story in the news this week, John North, about a tennis player named Sharapova. She's taking a heart medication of some kind, runs a very well-paid $30 million sports star, a very specialized medication. What do you say about steroids, which are steroids still popular among guys?
I'd say steroids are probably more popular today than they ever have been. They have more designer things. They got human growth hormone now. Back when I started out, it was we didn't really have that. We had what's called monkey growth hormone, which is very nasty stuff. I'm just glad back when I was young and a little more immature that I never could put my hands on that stuff. But I did play around with those with steroids when I was younger. I also abused them, and I had blood in my liver. And I stopped using those when I was 22, 23 years old. And of course, I'll be 49 in May, so I haven't done anything since then.
So you recommend that my listener, if he wants to look better, that he avoid medications? Well,
I would say this: it's a shame, people are kind of forced to medicate themselves. And take their own cycles and stuff like that. I would say that if a doctor was involved and things weren't so bad where things were illegal with it, I think that it wouldn't be so bad. The problem is people self-medicate themselves, and they think they know their own cycles and stuff. And some people they become pharmacists. they learn a lot of things, but especially for the young kid coming up, I wish somebody would have told me when I was younger that, if I can't win a local contest, not being on them, how in the world am I going to go anywhere in that sport, otherwise? So my big thing is I'm not necessarily against the person who uses them. It's part of the world that we live in. They're there, but I just I don't know if that answers your question.
Americans have killed more than 50 million children since 1973 with the opinion of Roe versus Wade. We have a growing gray bulge in the demographic of our country, John North of LBS Gym Fitness. What are you doing to serve the growing number of older people in the Soddy-Daisy and North Hamilton County area?
I'm glad you say that. A lot of gyms are afraid of people that have had heart attacks or strokes or things like that. I worked in, prior up until the recession hit and I lost my job, I worked in the hospital for over 17 years. And I was a patient care technician. I worked around cancer patients, Alzheimer's, you name it. I've seen it and been around it. And the one thing that patients need is when they are done with their physical therapy, they never get to fully, they help them get their motion back, range of motion and things like that. But they never, from that point on, they need to go to a gym. They need to strengthen those body parts that got injured or whatever have you, or even if they've had a stroke or a heart attack, they can exercise and help at least strengthen some of the muscle loss they have. And so I have a fitness side to the gym. It's split in two. I have one side that's for the powerlifting, for the bodybuilding, for the in between. And then I have a whole fitness side. I have the machines and everything to help people. And I have one person right now. He told me that the gym saved his life because he was shot in the back. He was a parks ranger, shot in the back, and he had chest pains. He went in, come to find out, because he got shot from the back, there was not fragments, but scarring behind his heart. And they fixed that. And he's back in the gym and everything. And he said, the doctor said, had he not been working out in the gym, he would have just been outside one day and he would have dropped dead of a heart attack working in the yard. So those are the things that make me feel good.
This is David Toulis. I do thank you for giving us a couple of minutes of your time. And you, my listener, you're telling me that you're about to head out and you have to drop out. John North, tell my listener how to get a hold of you and where, what domain he can find out more about LBS Gym Fitness in Soddy-Daisy.
Okay, well, again, it's it's lbsgym.fit is the website, and I have a virtual tour on there. I can be, I have to look at this sometimes, 8363 Dayton Pike. It's across the street from Paul's Auto Body behind Delia's Mexican restaurant there in Soddy-Daisy. And my memberships are $20 a month, and it's 24/7 is when it's open.
And if John North is not there, then you'll meet Courtney Smith, his colleague, who's a trainer. She has some of her own business interests connected through that gym. That's LBS Gym Fitness behind Delia's. Of course, you, my listener, know all about Delia's. It's a great restaurant, and we've had Delia's on the station before, run by Maria Hernandez. And John is a juvenile detention officer and has been in the gym field for more than 35 years or so, and has a new gym with a great rate. Now, let me just ask you quickly, do you, John, if my listener, the guy listener comes in, how do you evaluate quickly? How do you evaluate what his needs are? Is it a long process or is it just a questionnaire? How's that done?
Not really. They come in and I ask them what they want to do. And most people that come through want to do general fitness, and I show them all the equipment, so that's at their disposal. And then we go right into the machines which I have them numbered, and I explain to them what each body part does and how easy it is by using the program that I have set up for them and following the numbers. They don't really have to think about it, but before too long, they become their own personal trainer.
Duke Newcomb with the Patriot Prepper Hour is next. He is going to be talking about the electrical grid, the vulnerabilities to the grid, and also about government and the government's view on disaster relief, making reference to Katrina and Sandy, and the very highly effective method by which the Federal Emergency Management Agency responded to those disasters. We're brought to you by Duke and his store. He's at P5, the Prepper store. It's P5Prep preparedness on East Brainerd Road. He has there an aquaponics system that you'll find intriguing, part of a general well-being, and he has a way of growing plants without dirt and fish that you grow in a little friendly relationship there between those two forms of life. It's an aquaponics system, great for just general home life, but also for the preparedness-minded person. He has multi-tools, severe weather gear, tactical gear, preparedness goods as well. And P5 means proper planning prevents poor preparedness. And he'll be his store has great classes about being prepared, being manly. So you, my listener, may want to find out more from Duke about that. We're also brought to you by Trade Bank of Chattanooga, the smarter way to barter and to improve your cash flow. It's run by a man who's been in the Hickson market for 20 years. His name is Jürgen Mutz, and his number is 877-2202. That's 877-2202. My name is David Toulis, and we've been talking with John North. John, give your website again.
It's lbsgym.fit.
lbsgym.fit. That's in Soddy-Daisy behind Dahlia's. This is David Toulis. Sabrina Smedley is looking up today, and she and I have been looking at the sky. She's aware of the program run by the good people to inject clouds in the sky over the city. This is not happenstance contrail. This is not innocuous water vapor, according to reporting at Nuganomics.com. Since 2014, we've been covering the story of geoengineering, the war on global warming, brought to us now for the fifth day in a row. That is, I think, the big story today, that for the fifth day, we have had extensive jet overflights, hundreds of flights, the sole purpose of which is to deposit, as we have reported, coal fly ash. That is the great benefit of recycling, that you can take your ash from your coal plants, and once you've suppressed it from the smokestack, you can drag your stack across the sky, as it were, and pour it back out to dim the sun. We have often this in evidence before storm fronts move in. The dispersal of aerosols prevents rain from falling. It has been extensively used in California, where there is a drought, we are told, of biblical proportions. No rain has fallen, except perhaps by accident, on California in about 3 or 4 years. And so we know that there's intervention going on. We know that this genius of the human mind has long thought of it. In fact, weather modification and weather control are public policy since at least the time of the Kennedy administration. He gave that famous speech before the UN saying that we will control the weather, and we are today the beneficiaries or the victims, depending on how you look at it, of weather modification. You won't find out about this program anywhere in Chattanooga except at my website, which is Nuganomics.com, the website for the man who matters. Let me suggest you subscribe to it, and whenever I post something, you will have a notice in your inbox about that, and then you click the link and read the latest. It's the website for the man who matters. Not popular, but that's because in the end, I think very few people matter, and those who matter, though, they read what's on Nuganomics.com. I do thank you for joining us. John North, thank you. John North runs LBS Gym Fitness in Soddy-Daisy, a new gym for you, and do check it out. My name is David Toulis.